Like
You come to Kansas City, I'm going to take you to a barbecue place because even if I was gay, I'd still take you to a strip club. Getting tickets for the fight tonight.
you know they're not gonna have vegan shit, right? Actually, popcorn's pretty vegan.
No, it's not. It's always in butter.
Oh, that's right. Shit.
Struggle.
Yeah, man, that's struggle. Wow, that's restrictive, man. Wow.
I like the restrictive part was the benefit of the boxing thing.
What do you mean?
I enjoyed because I know I'm greedy, and if there can be stuff for me to eat everywhere I go, I'm just gonna eat everywhere I go. But like last night when I went out to eat with you, if there was something I would have eaten, but because there's nothing, I didn't eat, and I ate when I was home.
No kidding.
Most people they eat out of convenience.
The girl I dated who was vegan had said something extremely similar, like almost spot on. And she was just like, "Oh, too many options."
Yeah, and the thing is, if there's always food, I'll just always eat. And because it limited me, I was forced to plan my meals, bring my meals with me, or eat Chipotle, which is not really that bad.
That's really an interesting idea. Maybe I'll do a 30-day vegan experiment. That's a real interesting thing where I'm just like,
and the thing is, I've gotten into this thing where I'm starting to learn. When you start to eat very clean, you start to learn what your body craves. When you don't allow bullshit in your body, like you know when you want fats, you know when you want protein, you know when you're carving carbs. And I was able to learn that. Then I started learning that so much of these products have so many chemicals that are so hurtful, and that's why they're so cheap. And I'm like, as I'm making more money, I'm not making more money so I can buy fancy clothes and jewelry. I'm just trying to
better quality
life.
And even without the vegan thing, because I'm very much not vegan, hence me thinking about the vegan experiment.
Hence the barbecue restaurant we went to 2 nights ago.
Yeah, man, much appreciated. Taking me to the barbecue, and there is nothing, nothing there.
There's nothing there for me to eat.
If you were a vegetarian, you'd have been okay.
I'd have French fries or something.
What did you do with some vegetables? There was French fries. There was the oyster salad I had. Like,
when you come to Kansas City, I'm going to take you to a barbecue place because even if I was gay, I'd still take you to a strip club.
See, and that's love, man. But I appreciate the idea though of this restrictiveness that is not present, that you don't eat everything in sight and it forces you to plan, which is like, let's be real, that's one of the many problems that this country has with obesity and why people are overweight.
And the thing is, here's the problem about it is it's hard to speak about obesity without shaming anyone.
Well, because look, here's the thing. I'm not the guy that's going to be like shame is a bad thing. I think shame is a tool like any other tool. And
but the thing is, when I talk about shame, I'm not even talking about people feeling shamed. The people they don't just feel shame, but they defend and retaliate and attack.
Well, as they will, because it's like we talk about. So when we talk about the booze thing, like you don't think you have a problem, and if someone suggested you did have a problem, you probably would have a reaction.
And the thing is, the education alone. So now, first of all, there's a lot of food deserts, and as a vegan, like I understand a lot of places, like you can't find kale in the hood.
No, you can't. But I always when people say that, it's somebody who grew up in the hood. And spent, well, at this point now, a little less than half of his life, but until I turned 36, because I lived there till I was 18. What I'll say is this: no one's shopping in the hood, like that's where you live. But you go to the grocery store, and the grocery store now is there an education deficit? No, absolutely.
Well, so I would say I don't live in the hood, but I don't live in the greatest neighborhood. Yeah. Right? In terms of grocery stores and stuff like that. I live in somewhat of a food desert. The hen house that's close to my house, not one that we would grocery store. It's a grocery shop. As a vegan, the food that I buy and the food that I consume, I have to drive from Kansas City in my hood to Leawood into another neighborhood and buy my groceries over there. Now, I have the ability to drive 30 minutes to Trader Joe's.
Sure.
So accessibility. So I do understand that comes into the role when we talk about obesity is just the options. and then you get the education.
And here's my thing. Yeah, because you're running like 93 premium, the super clean machine that only takes in certain things. And that is fantastic and optimal. But at the other end, I think people are being suboptimal, and they're doing so. I will concede that it is a lack of knowledge, like trying to explain to a person that but like it's saying low fat means it's not healthy, and getting them to like little things like that, getting them to understand that.
And vegan doesn't even mean healthy.
Yeah, or getting on those terms, like really educating people to get them to know that you need to spend most of your time shopping around the edge of the grocery store.
There's so much money involved in it that you'll never understand the proper education. I just did an event down in Tampa, Florida. They opened up a vegan school, King Charter School. And the reason it's in its official school, it's the first vegan school.
Yeah.
But public school. But they haven't opened because the FDA won't allow them to have a cafeteria without serving milk.
Right.
But even though there's no benefit, like it's because milk has spent a lot of money to get into certain places.
And here's my thing about this, right? Yeah, there is a concerted, I really believe this 100%, there's a concerted government effort. But
for misinformation.
But knowledge is now decentralized. Like I didn't learn this from like the Oracle.
Knowledge has now been decentralized, but we have so many traditions that we keep with us. Soul food. We black people, we brag about our soul food. That is terrible food.
But once somebody tells you it's terrible, because I went through the same thing with my mom. It was miserable trying to explain this is not good for you. And I wasn't doing it in a mean way until, I get frustrated, which takes a long time for me to get frustrated. So it's not like I have a temper or anything like that. It just takes a while. But like there are the old habits of the old generation, but this obesity thing, this is like, if you look at it time lapse wise, people are getting fatter faster. In other words, if it was just a lack of knowledge, and we say now it's decentralized, and I'll say what I used. I'll just use my timeline for when I figured out kind of how I was cutting weight for when I fought in the cage, and I needed to get down to 205, and I was already kinda in shape, but I needed to I didn't want to lose muscle. I was able to look up how to do this in 2009, 2008, right? In that area. So, okay. So it's been out here for a while, and it makes no sense for us to be accelerating. If anything, what should be happening, before you say that, if anything, what should be happening with the amount of knowledge out there is we should see a reversal. We should see people go, oh, I don't want to, but it ain't just, it's not, knowledge is only part of it. Accessibility is only part of it, but I don't get.
What's that third part?
What's the
third part is in 2009, when you decided to make the decision to learn about the nutrition, you were ambitious enough in the sense to learn.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of things that I'm not ambitious enough to learn. There's a lot of stuff about cars that I can look up online for free. There's a lot of things, their information is out there, but you have to be ambitious enough to search for the information, filter through the bullshit, and then consume it, and then apply it.
Right. Okay. So I just want to state that you're agreeing. It's not an accessibility issue. That was my only point. Is that?
Oh no, I was saying for the few, because where I'm living now, if I didn't have transportation, I didn't have money to get there, then it'll be an accessibility.
But you could walk to you might not
no,
like
I couldn't walk in my neighborhood. I can't walk. That's what I was saying. I can't walk in my neighborhood to the hen house there.
That's what I was going to say.
2 Thanksgivings ago, I went to buy something. The lady was like, "You might want to check the expiration date." And I was like, "You work here."
Wow.
Now, that's my grocery store. So what I'm saying is there are people who are stuck in certain areas who don't have transportation.
Okay, that's true. But
excuses because they only go so far. And I do get that.
Not only can they only go so far, but there are bad choices out of ignorance. You don't know better. And then there are bad choices out of, well, I know better. Because look, man, if there's one thing I learned watching cigarette smokers grow up, man, you can't make ain't no such thing as a cigarette that's too expensive to a cigarette smoker. They're gonna find a way to get them cigarettes. And watching that, I said, look, if people can do that for something that with no net gain, like you don't have to smoke. That is a purely like you have to eat. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, and whether you make the best choice or a worse choice, certainly the idea is over time this is better than no calories, because if you don't eat, eventually you'll float away. It ain't like that. You ain't gotta smoke a cigarette. But I watch people figure out how they'll come up with that cigarette money one way or the other. So I know people are capable.
You're right. You're right. People are capable of not giving people excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah. People will use excuses. I won't give people the excuses to use. You're right about that. Another thing with I want to explain my vegan. That's what I was thinking about. The whole reason behind me being vegan. Originally, I lost a bet.
Okay.
Manny Pacquiao versus Timothy Bradley. That was, I believe, June 9th. June 10th. The people I lost the bet to knocked on my door at 7 a.m. with a garbage bag and took all of my non-vegan food and put it in the garbage bag. We dropped it over my buddy Matt's house, and then we went to the grocery store and they showed me how to grocery shop. And first thing I learned, because I never knew how to grocery shop, when she said she was going to teach me how to grocery shop, I was like, oh, here we go. And she's like, first of all, up and down the aisles, there's nothing you need. That's where all the processed junks are.
Yep.
You shop on the perimeter of the store, then you get out. So we would go to Walmart and buy all the stuff that we could buy at Walmart and like the cheaper stores. And then we go to the Whole Foods or the Trader Joe's to get the vegan stuff we want. And then we went back to my house and my apartment, and we cooked for like 4 or 5 hours. She showed me different meals to cook, and Amy Mackey, Bill and Amy Mackey, they pre-made meals for me for the whole week. And it was like our weekly tradition. After I lost the bet, I had to do it for 28 days. And the food, I'm gonna be real, first week, your boy was gassy. The food, because it's the diet is no meat, no dairy, no eggs, no salt, no sugar, no added salt, no added sugar, no added fat, no added oil.
Pause. I gotta make sure I understand this, because my thought process about what veganism is, I didn't know salt.
Oh no. This is so vegan means whatever you're eating never had a mother.
Okay.
What I am is I'm whole foods, plant-based. That means I try to avoid the junk food, because you can have Captain Crunch, that's vegan. Pop-Tarts, they're vegan. There's vegan burgers. There's junk food. That's vegan, but it's not healthy.
Okay.
So I'm leaning more on the healthy side. So I like to say I'm whole food, plant-based. I just say vegan because it's easier.
But you are like vegan.
Yeah, but I am vegan. Yes. So I avoided all the first week. There's no salt in the food. So actually, I'll flash back and explain. I was heading to 2012 Olympics, got suspended for not filling out paperwork, was suspended for a year, and was depressed, was drinking a lot, was overweight, and then I lost this bet. And I went from eating, I would go to McDonald's, the drive-thru, I'd get 3 McChickens with cheese and no lettuce, and I would get 3 McDoubles, extra pickles, no mustard, no pickles, extra ketchup, extra onions. And I would eat 5 burgers a day. That's what I would eat for dinner, and I was depressed, and I was eating that junk. I lost the bet. Next morning, I'm consuming whole food, plant-based foods. My body was in complete shock. I was super gassy. The food tastes like nothing. I couldn't say it tastes bad. It tastes like nothing because there's no salt. And I didn't realize this, but it takes 22 to 23 days for your taste buds to adjust. Now, I'm a man of my word. I lost a bet. I'll do the 28 days. I didn't want to be vegan. I don't know any vegans. The vegans I do know, Bill and Amy, they seem nice, but all the vegans I heard about are weirdos. And I don't want to be a part of the vegan community because I didn't know anything about it. So I did it for the 28 days, but after 24 days, the food started tasting better. And I realized I was like losing weight. My energy was better. I was happier. I didn't feel lethargic. I didn't have the itis. And I was getting worried at day 27. I'm like, oh no, tomorrow's the last day. It's about to be over. And I was like, oh, I could just keep going. And I decided to keep going for vanity reasons because it's like, oh, if I keep going, I'm gonna have my 6-pack. I didn't care about animals. Like I grew up in New York. There's no farms around me. I didn't see any. I didn't care about animals. And I was vegan for vanity reasons for like 3 or 4 years. And I was emceeing a gig, Watkins Glen, New York.
I know exactly what it is. I've been
Farm
up to
Factory.
Yeah, I've been up to Watkins Glen.
Yeah,
right in the
farm
lake.
sanctuary, and yeah, beautiful place. And I got to go on all these acres, and I got to meet all these animals. And I didn't know about animals. I thought pigs were small, pink, and cute. There are pigs that are like 8 feet long, 2,000 pounds. There are cows that are taller than me. I didn't realize these animals had personalities and stuff. And I'm hanging out with these animals and they're pointing out and they have names. I had a goat that took a liking to me, and this goat was in a wheelchair. It had his 2 front legs, but the back was just 2 wheels. And this was like the first time I've ever had a connection to animals. Granted, I had been vegan 4 years, like 3 or 4 years at that point. But I got back to the tiny house that night. I stayed in a really cool tiny house where the washer was the dryer. Laundry. It's pretty cool stuff, man. And it hit me that like I was eating animals for all these years, and I started to feel guilty. And the thing is, I'm not opposed to death. I'm not opposed to death. I understand death happens. I'm opposed to factory farming.
Okay.
I think it's, if you don't want to look at it because it grosses you out and you rather not know, then you agree with me.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that
no,
if you're not,
I understand there's logistics behind it. You know, you have to.
Yeah, but if you're not willing to kill you, in other words, here's where we probably find some common ground. If you're not willing to kill the animal and clean it and do all that yourself, you probably don't have what it takes to be eating it. Is where I generally fall and feel, which is why I'm so eager to go hunting, because I like to at least know that I can do it. Like I think I'd be cool, right? But I might be like, oh no, Bambi, like I might not be able to do it, and you never know.
Yeah, and there's a lot of different reasons why people are. There's a lot of vegan people who are vegan not for the health reasons. They care about animals' lives, not so much their own. They'll eat the junk food and they'll do the vegan.
They're not going to be the whole food plant based. Okay.
And the thing is, more power to them. You be vegan for whatever reason you want. Granted, I don't judge people for eating meat. I've eaten meat actually for most of my life.
You took me to the barbecue.
I took you to a barbecue place.
Yeah.
Now, I won't ever shame someone, but there's reasons why I personally won't do something. And what happens when you take a stance, even with your stance with sobriety, people who aren't sober start to feel attacked.
Yeah, because it's like, how could you be against my existence? Pretty much is how I feel they feel.
Exactly. And I do face that with people who like, oh, you think you're vegan? You think you're better than me? No. You must think I'm better than you.
Right. Because I haven't said anything, right?
Yeah.
Be like, people think I'm a drain the fun or something, which is cool because I don't want to hang out with people who drink anyway, who are like, or at least where that is the activity. Like, we're getting together to drink. I'm like, well, I'm like, it's just not congruent with me. It'd be like me inviting you to the barbecue, but like the whole, like, I don't know anybody. We're just coming to sample fine meats, or like, I don't even know if there's a meat equivalent, but like drinking tours. Like there's
Fogo de Chao.
Right. Okay. Exactly. Like, why would we go to Fogo? Is there even a vegan? I know there's vegetarian options.
No, there's nothing. And the thing is, as a vegan, one of the great things is the restrictions. Another great app for vegans, the Happy Cow app. It's like Tinder, but for vegan food. Every city I go in, it checks your radius. It lets you know the vegan places, the vegetarian places, and the places with vegan or vegetarian options. That way you don't have to do any Googling or search. And there's all reviews and pictures. So it's so easy to be vegan now. In 2012, it wasn't this easy. So I've been vegan for 10 years now.
Wow. 10 years.
I never went back. You know why I never went back? Because I couldn't find a single reason worth going back.
Which is how I feel about drinking. But like, I go, man, if I could find one, but that requires being honest and not just self-indulgent, because I think if somebody was in your shoes and they would go, oh, this tastes great, and that's enough for them to change, but I don't think there'd be many people who would go, well, I missed the taste, but I'm feeling good. And that's when most people are undisciplined and not together. And that's really the cool thing.
Well, here's something that I was thinking about that as well. There's a whole bunch of these vegan meats out. There's the Impossible Burger, there's the Beyond Burger, and there's tons of the brands. I flew to San Francisco to try the Impossible Burger the day it came out. Granted, like I knew it was coming out, so I made sure I booked a gig over there so I can try it. And when I had it, it tasted just like meat, which I thought was going to be a good thing.
And you're like, oh, I'm done.
I didn't. Yeah. I thought I missed meat, and then I tried it, and the texture, like the fat, it is legit tastes like meat, and I'm like, it's too,
and now it's too close.
It's too close. I'm turned off by not to the point where I can't take you to a barbecue place because.
But you don't eat it.
Yeah, I couldn't.
You're not interested.
Yeah, not interested in the least. And now I get why some vegans don't like the vegan meat. I think the vegan meat is great for someone trying to transition. So you can, if you don't want to eat regular meat, you go to. So if you're trying to become vegan or eat less meat,
it's like the vegan equivalent of the non-alcoholic beer.
Yes,
right?
Which I had my
and
first
you were
non-alcoholic
just like, that's weird.
2 days ago, I went out with Ed, one of the barbecue places, Jack Stack, and I had a non-alcoholic beer for the first time, and the taste reminded me of all of the bad decisions I would make while I was drinking. And I was like, oh, I feel gross doing this.
And that's the problem with the fake stuff. For some people it's cool. For me, it was cool. Some people don't like it. Clearly, the Impossible Burger is no good for you.
But I love the fact that it's there because here's the thing. If there are more of these vegan options that people eat, then there'll be less animals being killed.
Right. So ultimately, even though you're not going to take that path to get the outcome, you don't have a problem with that path existing because it still supports the outcome.
Yes.
And it does it in a way where it's not like
I found it is so much more effective for people to, because I'm not out here trying to change everyone vegan, but my way of not trying to turn anyone vegan is probably more of a success rate.
Much more effective, right?
My thing is, I just want to be awesome, be cool, and when you ask me, "Hey, what's your secret?" Well, I'm vegan, and like, well, tell me more.
Right.
Instead of me saying, "Let me tell you why I'm awesome," and they're like, "Whoa, you're not that cool."
And that's a real great spot to end on because it's the same idea. Just be awesome, be cool, be yourself, and you don't have to push your ideas and your beliefs on anybody. I'm not going to be a guy that soapboxes my sobriety either. But if you want to know, I'll talk to you. If you got something out of this, if you're a vegan who feels compassionate, and you stopped eating that meat because it was the animals, that's cool. If you're a vegan because you just wanted to be healthy, cool. But
and also, any listeners, let me know if you're a meat eater and you now you tried the Impossible Burger, you tried the Beyond Burger. You don't have to tell me publicly, but slide in my DMs and let me know what you actually thought.
Or put it in the comments. I'm curious.
Or put it in the comments.
Because I personally, I'm not eating the Impossible Burger until somebody's like, until I ain't got a choice. But
the thing is, like, dudes will eat a hot dog, but not eat an Impossible Burger.
Humans are weird, man.
Humans are weird, man. But Judge-Free Zone.
Judge-Free Zone. If you like, comment, subscribe, share this Life After Fight podcast episode. Let us know what you think in the comments. And we are up and out, and we're going to keep eating what we eat.
Yeah.